Hello, everybody. I believe it's time to start our session. I'm so proud that NileTESOL Learning Technology SIG is starting its first virtual session. We've decided to make it like a free-flowing discussion. It's meant to be an orientation and a free question-answer session here for our participants to get familiar with what we call EVO, Electronic Village Online, and a highlight activity in TESOL International call intersection. We are so lucky to have two very active coordinators from EVO. Both have been participating in EVO since some time ago. I'm going to introduce them one by one. We are so lucky to talk to them and draw on their prior experience, so we see how we can personally benefit from EVO, which is actually starting in January with a kickoff session on the 7th of January, and I believe officially starting on the 8th of January. Okay, so allow me to start introducing our first guest speaker today. We got Maria. Maria Bosa is joining us from Argentina. Maria and I go way back. The first time I got to, got online and presenting for the first time, I was lucky to have her. Very supportive, very friendly, very enthusiastic participant and fellow trainer. Maria has been a teacher of English for, I would say, 25 years. Wow, that's quite, an experience. She's taught primary and secondary grades. She's participated in EVO since 2009. I believe that's the first year we met and the first year we started. She has joined the EVO as a co-moderator in how to become a webhead workshop. And that was back in 2012 and 2013. I believe she also co-moderated ICT for ELT in 2014 and 2016. Maria, a pleasure and honor to have you today, and a round of applause, virtual applause to Maria. The mic is yours now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Hanaa, for such a wonderful presentation. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to be here with you, because you know that my heart is in Egypt forever. You know how much I love your country and how much I love the people from Cairo. I hope I think I can give you a brief explanation of what EVO is. EVO started back in 2000 as and has been offering free professional development workshops for English language educators around the world. It's organized by volunteer coordinators with 5-week sessions conceived and facilitated by a team of volunteers moderators. The EVO is open to anyone with a computer or with a smartphone or an internet connection. There is no academic credit, so everything is voluntary. And you can participate in any session that is offered. Those who participate, in that case we, love EVO because all we know about technology or other topics that you will learn in a minute, we do it just for love of sharing, love of learning. All we know is thanks for EVO. As Hanaa said, EVO was originally conceived as a project of TESOL computer-assisted language learning inter-section. Everybody, as I said, everybody can be participants of the EVO session. So I think that this is a brief review of what EVO is. So let's see if my dear friend Ayat can move to the next slide, so I don't lose you. What else? EVO has been part of my life forever, since I started back in 2010. Let's see. As you know, EVO, there is a timeline for EVO, and we start in September, what we call the call for proposals. Everybody who wants to participate can send a proposal on any topic people can think about. We, the coordinators or the group of teachers around the world, study and learn about their sessions, and we give a kind of provisional acceptance to those sessions presented. We also have a moderate trainer, which is would last for 1 month, and after the moderator training, we start the registration. When we talk about the sessions, there is a lot to consider, especially, as I said, the topic, how many moderators we will have, if we will provide budget and the articles, well, everything that a course has to take care of. Generally, we have a kickoff session. This year will be, as Hanaa said, on January the 7th. It will be at 2 p.m. GMT, which is 11 a.m. in Argentina. And we are a kind of 5 hours or 4 hours behind in Egypt. So we have the kickoff session, and then all the sessions will start in January, on January the 8th. So we run for 5 weeks, and generally there is a final online session, the very last day, which is will be February the 12th, this year, of course, to 2017. So I think that this is a kind of introduction of what EVO is. I will let you know my experience in a minute after Ayat goes on. But I love EVO. So Ayat, the floor is yours. Ayat. Ayat.
Okay, Maria, thank you for that. Before Ayat takes the floor, let me introduce her properly. Ayat is a very good friend and colleague. She is actually the founder of LTSIG, Egypt, NileTESOL. Ayat and I, again, go way back. Both of us we worked together with Webheads, and we've virtually met across various sessions, web conferences, and it was lovely to see Ayat face to face in the American University in Cairo. in one of my sessions in NileTESOL. I think it was 2010 when we first met face-to-face. It was so exciting. Ayat, again, is a very good friend and colleague of Maria. It's like we got like twin sisters here across the world. We have two moderators, as a matter of fact. So they worked together on almost, the very same projects and the same sessions in EVO. Ayat has a 14 years of experience. She's worked in various schools and institutions in Egypt. Currently, she's teaching adults and young learners at the British Council. Her fascination is all about blended learning and Web 2.0 tools in teaching and enhancing creativity. She's co-moderated, again, the very same program or same workshop, Becoming a Web Head. And that was back in time, 2012, 2013. She also participated as a co-moderator in ICT4 ELT in 2014 and 15 and 16. Ayat, without further ado, I would like to turn the floor to you now to familiarize us a little bit more on what is it that you really do in EVO as a moderator.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Hanaa, for the introduction. That's really great. And thank you for being a great help and support in this journey of NileTESOL LTSIG. It's a great pleasure and honor. So back to EVO. As Maria said, I'll just continue that EVO started originally as a project of TESOL's Computer Assisted Language Learning Interest SIG. And then not only the TESOL participants joined it, but also later on IATESOL members and other SIGs have been involved in EVO as participants, moderators, and coordinators. So people from all around the world and even people from Egypt have started being very active participants and moderators in EVO. So I'll go through the process and what our participants might be interested in knowing. So starting with the cost, for example, we know that EVO is free. It's 5-week session, free, no cost. You don't have to pay anything. You just enroll online. As for enrolling, you don't need anything, just a computer and internet access. You might need a mic or headset if you want to join some of the live sessions that might be included in your session. But still, you can listen without a headset. And we have here some of our participants in this session joining us through smartphones. So you can just have the app or just the headset to listen, even if you don't have a mic to participate actively or even talk. As for some of the questions we get, that some participants think that they can join more than one session. Yes, you can join more than one session, but it's advisable that you join 1 or 2 sessions only, because it really requires some active work, and if you join more than one session, you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to get to benefit really from these sessions, because the amount of work for each session is considerable and can be really enough for you to get all you want. So we say just like 2 sessions are enough. The time required for participation, we say that you should have really time and some strong desire to participate and a desire to develop your own professional development. But we say that active participation might require from 2 to 10 hours per week. But still, the participants decide how active they want to be. So you can be just a lurker, so lurking is okay. You can do the readings and tasks after the session ends. And in most cases, we have the platforms and the resources available for maybe a few months after the end date of EVO sessions. So it depends on each session. So you might check your moderators of the sessions, how long they might have the tasks and platforms open. So you can visit them later on if you don't have really time at the session or at the EVO date and time. As for certificates and academic record, they don't have any academic record. We don't give academic credits for participation in the EVO sessions. But we give certificate of participation, and I want to make it clear it's certificate of participation, not certificate of completion. And again, it depends on the session. So you have to ask the session moderators what are the requirements and when is the end date for the session's tasks to be done. So each session moderator's team decides what are the requirements, what are the tasks that you should do, and when is the deadline for you to finish these tasks so that you get a certificate of participation. So that's for these points. As for the sessions themselves and what kinds of online tools you have, so we have first the content or the materials, the resources that the session moderators have for you. These can be on a wiki or in a Moodle, any kind of website that you can go, access readings, access materials, do some tasks maybe. And there is also the communication or interaction part. And this might be on Facebook groups, and some sessions choose like Google Plus groups maybe, and some others choose Moodle. So there are lots of websites, platforms that can be used. As for live sessions, most of the sessions have a live session or a live webinar during the session, which might be once a week or might be twice in the whole session. And for these ones, you can use a tool like the one we're using here, the Blackboard Collaborate. You can have it in other platforms like Adobe Connect. You can have it in a Google Hangout. So each session chooses the tool that they want to have. So you're going to have some content, materials, readings, resources to access, read, and then you're going to have some tasks to do, and you're going to communicate and interact with other course participants and with the course moderators, which is a very good and great opportunity for professional development. You exchange experiences and ideas and reflection on what you've read. And then you might have the live sessions, where you have a presenter, a guest speaker coming from a specific background that relates to the session content. And you listen to him presenting and you ask questions, and you can even have the recording later on. So even if you're not free, even if the time doesn't suit you for the live session, you might have the recording later on to listen to. So again, that's another opportunity to have for the EVO session. So if there are no questions about these parts, yeah, so Hanaa is asking, can we just lurk? Yes, many participants just lurk. And in EVO, we know that people have lots of other stuff to do. So you have family commitments, you have work commitments. So it's absolutely fine to lurk. And you're going to have the materials and resources available, as I said, just like a few months after the session, or maybe even more. So this gives a good opportunity for continuous development and whenever you can. So if we don't have any questions, maybe Maria can tell us where we can start now. So starting now or starting January, what's going to happen and how can we actually join one of the sessions?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here, Maha. This is for me the first time I will be with you working. So thank you for being with us today. So the first session, or the first thing, what's next? As I said before, we will have the kickoff session on January the 7th, yes, at 2 p.m. And from that moment onward, we will start working. You know that kickoff session, we will introduce most of the courses, the moderators, co-moderators, the participants. So everybody is invited to participate in the session. We will do it here at Blackboard Collaborate. And from that moment onward, you will start working with the session that you have decided to do, to choose. I had mentioned that we can choose 2 sessions, and I assure you that more than 2 is a big mushkila. Why? Because you can't cope with it. I think that one is okay, two is more than enough. So the idea is that you choose one session, or you choose one session, and you work perfectly well with that. And then as I said, different excuse me, different oh, sorry, I forgot. Different platforms you will be having the course and the session, so you will have to talk. You will have to talk with your moderators and the participants where you will have the online session. So this is it. What's next? Remember, January the 7th, 2 p.m. GMT. You will have to pay attention to the time in Egypt. So that will be Ayat or Hanaa. This is it from my side. I've already talked more.
Okay, this is Ayat. So I've just shared the EDU main link and the link to the list of sessions. So some of the sessions are, for example, teaching EFL to young learners, TechnoClays, teaching pronunciation, teaching listening, QR codes, Moodle, ICT for ELT, flipped learning, Evo Village, Minecraft, which is a game session about using games and teaching, do-it-yourself online assessment, and that's one of the new sessions. And I would like to thank Maha for joining us. So we have another session moderator with us here. So Maha's joining the Evo sessions for the first time as a moderator. She has started her own sessions this year, and we're really looking forward to it. And we have lots of other sessions, so design thinking, classroom-based research, some TESOL, others. So it's a big variety that that we have in EDU this year. So for example, when I started, actually I started with a session that's very similar to ICT for ELT, because this is a session for beginners. So it tells you everything about the use of ICT. So if you are just starting and you don't know your way yet to using technology in the classroom, you can start with ICT for ELT. All the other sessions actually are easy, and they have in mind that some of the participants are new to the use of technology. So they are all very considerate of this point. We have many sessions in Moodle, which is a great platform that you can, by being a participant in a session, learn how to use it for your own sessions or for your own work later on. And I think Maha has this experience as well. She has been into Moodle and she's doing her session in Moodle. It's a great platform that you can have resources, tasks, and you can award badges and lots of other stuff there. Yeah, it's a very important platform, Hanaa, and we might be preparing something about Moodle later on. So maybe after we discuss our experience in EDU, maybe we can ask Maha to tell us something about her experience in general, because she's going to join our kickoff session on the 7th. So yeah, so just everybody, you can join the EDU sessions the beginning of January, 1st of January, so just 1 week apart. And then you're going to have the kickoff session, as Maria said, the 7th. You're going to meet all moderators of all sessions to tell you about their sessions. So you're going to have a good idea about each session from the moderators themselves. Yes, you're going to meet the moderators and get to know more about each session, but you still have a proposal in the link I posted. You have a list of the sessions. You can go look at the session details, what you're going to cover each week, and decide by then. So Hanaa, would you like to share with us something about your experience with EDU?
Well, my pleasure indeed. I remember the very first time I joined, EDO workshops. I was, a bit unsure because I didn't have so many friends and colleagues from where I come from joining me. So I was a little bit unsure, and I was worried about lurking because, there is that risk when you lurk and you just join in name and you just watch, you don't actively participate, there is that risk that you drop off and, you know, unplug at a certain point. So I thought, well, I have to make this conscious decision. I have to actively participate. And that's what I really did. I remember that there was that intensive session called Multi-Literacies. I wonder if it's still there. I believe it was led by Vance Stevens himself. By the way, we got to really hand it to Vance. We got to acknowledge his help and support to us. First as webheads, second as LTESIG or LTSIG. He's kindly offered this venue, Blackboard Collaborate space on you know, this virtual room. He's provided it for our events, for our use, and so we do really thank him very much. We do thank him for sustaining that activity, supporting participants who later on become session leaders, like Maria, like Ayat, like in a few. We were going to have Maha Hassan. And unfortunately, we didn't have Mubarak today. He couldn't make it because of some tech issues he's suffering at the moment. Hope he can join in toward the end. So once again, it's been such an amazing experience. I managed to create my own community, you know, circle of friends and colleagues across the world through that multi-literacies program. I remember we simply delved into each and every tech tool available at the time. I remember we did everything possible. Back in time, there was that platform called Ning, N-I-N-G. It was offered for free, very much like Facebook. It was an amazing tool. I'm really sorry that they had to commercialize it, and I think now it's out of favor. I remember how you know, amazing the experience and the interaction was. We did almost everything. We did tags, we did presentations, we did chats, we did threaded discussions, we did tasks and projects. Simply amazing. I remember I learned tools and I collected expertise at that time. You know, it's a lifetime kind of experience, I can tell. So I'm really glad that this is all coming back. And I thought, well, this is something worth spreading. This is something we do need to spread around our SIG, LT-SIG in Egypt. So that's my humble experience with, you know, EVO sessions. Now back to you, Ayat. You can tell us about today's session, I mean, this year's session that you are co-moderating, and maybe Maria can tell us about hers.
Okay, then it is me again, Maria. I started EVO sessions back in 2010, as I said before, in a session called Internet for Young Learners. It was awesome. My moderators were from Greece and then from the United States. So I really enjoyed the sessions. The following year, I started becoming a webhead and multi-literacies. I really got lost in multi-literacy, so I decided to go on with becoming a webhead. And to my surprise, I met my twin sister there, and I loved it. My twin sister and the sessions. Everything I learned about technology, I learned it in becoming a webhead. Now is the ICT for ELT session. I learned about Twitter, I learned about Skype, I learned about Facebook, I learned about tons of other things that I have never ever imagined they exist. So it is thanks to EVO that I know a lot about technology. And then I did many other courses and many other sessions, but I always end in technology. So how I became a moderator? Well, it seems that I did my homework and I did it well, and I became a moderator for becoming a webhead, and then ICT for ENT, and then I became a coordinator. But anyway, if you don't become a moderator or a coordinator, it's awesome. You just have to participate, and as Hanaa said, you make friends all over the world. I am sure that that's one of the best part of being part of EVO. With Ayat, we have become friends, we have become sisters, we have worked together. She has come to Argentina, I have gone to Cairo. So you not only have a teacher next to you, but you also have a friend and a family. So this is my experience about EVO. Yes, Ayat was in Argentina. She started 2016 with me here. It was great. Yes, it was very exciting. You can't imagine how I suffered when I was waiting for her at the airport because the plane didn't arrive. But finally she was there, and I really thanked the Emirates flight attendants because they brought her here. But no, I was not in Cairo in 2010. I was in Cairo in 2012. I visited the pyramids. Well, tons of things. That's not part of the conversation we talk today. Anyway, please join the EVO sessions. More than one, I said that is mushkilat, but one is more than enough. So Ayat, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria, for that lovely, let's say, talk about our experiences. And yes, I started the EVO session being a participant in 2011, and that was, people from Egypt know, that was the year of the revolution, and it was January, and I was of course lurking at that time, and it was very difficult time. But I started before the revolution because it was the beginning of January, and it was amazing how this time that I disappeared, that I was offline all the time during the revolution days, how people started, how my moderators, the moderators of the session I was in, becoming a webhead. I will never forget all my mentors there, how they were really worried and how they kept asking about me, sending me messages and so on. It was lovely, it was amazing, and it was for me the first time to feel how we can be close to people online and how we can really build great relationships just through being online with people from all around the world. And this was the beginning. And yeah, in the same year, by the end of the session, while we were reflecting on our participation, I got to know Maria, and we started one of the, for me, it's a lifetime friendship. It happened just once in a life. And we became very, very close friends, and we worked together in many projects. So we did projects with our students, so as teachers, her students in Argentina and my students here in Egypt. We did lots of projects, and we did presentations in online events, different online events in many places, and people, I think, in many places around the world know us now because of the work we've done together. And then because we were, Maria and I were like active participants, we were asked by the session moderators to join their moderation team and to become session moderators for the same session, becoming a webhead. And since then, we had a new kind of experience. We became moderators. So we started to prepare for the session, to find content, readings, and to set tasks for participants, and to manage the session itself, the 5 weeks, and organize who is going to do what and which weeks we will be responsible for. And then again, as being active moderators, we were asked by the coordination team to become, to join the coordination team of EVU, which is a great and huge mission. So yeah, so Hanaa was asking, what does it involve being a moderator? So being a session moderator, we set the task, we find readings for each week by participants. So am I still clear to everyone? Can you hear me? Yes? Hello? Yes, okay, great. Thank you, Hanaa. So, so as moderators, we decide on the topic of the week, and then we start choosing readings and then tasks to do according to the readings, and we decide on what kind of interaction communication we're going to have with the session participants, how we are going to divide the week among us, who is going to be responsible for each week. We invite guest speakers to come for some of our weeks to give live sessions. We decide on the platforms we are going to use. And we keep the interaction going with our participants throughout the whole 5 weeks. And then we, of course, prepare reports about the session and the participation of our participants after the session. As for coordinators, session coordinators or EVU coordinators, that's a very, very big mission. So we have the call for proposals. So we invite people to write proposals for different sessions. And then we vet these proposals and we see what can be given an acceptance. And then we give training, a month training for the EVU moderators, so that we make sure that they are ready for their sessions. And then we have the call for participation, which is on now. And then we're going to have our kickoff session, and we keep track of all sessions, and we act as mentors to session moderators if they need any kind of mentoring or any kind of help. So it's a great mission, yes. The EVU people are just doing a great job. So maybe if Hanaa can join us, or if you have any other questions.
Okay, Khalid, I can read you raise your hand. So if you have any questions, just let us know so I can pass the mic to you.
Khalid, you can have the mic if you have a question, or you can type it in the chat box if you want.
All right. If you guys can hear me, I just want to know, I mean, you guys sounds having a lot of fun. It sounds like everybody's having a lot of fun doing this. My question is, before and after, could anybody tell me the difference before and after, before the notion of webheads, language technology, what have you, with your students, your experience, whether it's in Egypt, Argentina, anywhere? What are some of the benefits you guys reaped using the technology in your experience? Thank you.
Okay, I will reply your question. Whatever I learned, I not only learned it for me, but for my students. You know, all the platforms and all the tools that I learned from all the courses that I took were to put into practice with my students. I didn't know how to use Skype, so I use Skype with my students so they can Skype, or they could Skype with Ayat. I didn't know how to use Facebook, so I learned how to use Facebook. So then I taught Facebook to my students so they could Facebook with Ayat and her students. So whatever, or podcasting, or chatting, or Twitter, or things like that. I mean, I am talking about some social networks. But the idea is that in whatever we learn for them to put it into practice with our students. For example, last year I was mentoring teaching pronunciation. So that was great because I also review my pronunciation, and then I could taught that to my students. So all you learn is not only for you, but also for your students. And you have to be as creative as you can to put that into your students' classes or your students' minds. So I hope I have answered your questions. If not, I'm sure that Ayat or Hanaa will do that.
In other words, did that make your students acquire the language better? Or is it just a new technique in the field of education? Did it help the students to acquire or to better acquire the language? Did it make them better communicator? Did it make them smarter in terms of acquiring the language? Did some of them become multilingual?
Well, in my case, we practice a little bit. As I said, it's not multilingual, but the idea is that they acquire some knowledge because I did it, and I insisted on that. But yet, to the extent, yes, they became more, I don't know, say, more multilingual, but they acquire more English because of the working we had, the practice we had. So, yeah, I think so.
That's a good point, Khalid, yes, because I know that many teachers are just obsessed by the use of technology and they forget about the aim or the objective of it. And I agree that we shouldn't just go with technology and that fancy kind of thing for the sake of it and forgetting about the aim of it. And yeah, for me, yes, it helps my students, yes, of course. So for example, one project I did with my primary school students, and I start from the past with the primary school students I used to work with, we did a project with students from Canada, for example, and those are considered native speakers. So while they were interacting with those students who are native speakers, they got really self-confident about their language. They were trying to improve their language so as to feel that they are up to those native speakers. And they were reading, for example, a book that those native speakers in Canada were reading at the same time. It was online reading kind of project. So they were reading the same book, they were interacting almost on the same level, and then by the end they started sharing stuff about their country, so about Egypt, about our food, about our culture, and they asked questions to the other students in Canada and so on. This is for the language part. The project I did with Maria was very important as well, even from the cultural part, because when I talked to my students about Argentina, everybody just said, Argentina means Messi. And I think Maria's students said, Egypt means the pyramids. And they didn't really know much more than this. So getting the students to interact with each other, so they could see Argentina, my students could see Argentina beyond Messi and football only. So they could interact with other students, and I think it gave Maria's students as well some confidence, because their native language is Spanish and my students' native language is Arabic, and both of them have to speak in English to be able to interact. And we could do this through Facebook, which is a kind of website that students already use everywhere. So it's that you go to your students where they use the internet or the technology, and you get them into a kind of good interaction. The same way when I used it with my other students, so I started, good that you opened that point of blogs, Amira. Yeah, so when I started blogs with my adult students, it was very important for them because they had writing as their weakest skill, and when they started writing blogs, they had like real audience. And yes, by the end of the course, they had really improved their writing because they were writing for real audience and they were really putting a lot of effort and time into it. So yes, I like this point that you raised, Khalid, because many teachers just go for technology for the sake of technology and they forget about the aim, but it can really make a great difference with our students and they really appreciate the experience because this is the next generation. This is what we call digital native. So this is their life and we have to go to them where they spend their time and help them with the language.
Perfect. Yeah, I would add, last year with my primary school students, we also did a project about culture. And we learned about the Muslim people, I mean, your religion. And we had to read the book, although it was in Spanish. Then students had to find about clothes, about customs, about traditions. We read the Quran, Ayat, of course, to Khamis. But the idea is that whatever we learn at EVO, we can put it into practice and we can ask teachers from other parts of the world to help us and to contact our students so they can, as I said, they acquire or they feel confident with the language. And they know that what they learn is not something bookish, it's real. So they know the Quran, they know the rules or the students, they know how you live, what you eat. So the idea is that it's not only bookish English or technology, but also real stuff. And they can participate, they can ask, they can reply, and it's wow, this is it. And so I think that EVO is the starting point. As much as you are, as much as you can, or as creative you can be, then the roof is, there is no roof at all, because you can do whatever you want with all you learn EVO sessions. So Hanaa, Hanaa or Ayat, or if there is any other question, the floor is yours. Okay, Khalid, I will give you the mic so you can ask your question.
Yeah, I just want to thank all you guys. It's been really interesting. It's I like to try everything new for once. I think this is something I'd like to be a part of. And I hope our colleagues from Egypt, I don't know how, but if we possibly can develop something that we can take a model of this into our classrooms and our education systems, because I think that the most benefit, my assumption is the true and authentic communication. For example, I talked to Maria. I never met Maria. I'm getting to know the name, the spelling, the background. This is something that you can reap and you can get over, 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, that you can never possibly get over the whole term of education through a book or a magazine. So I'm interested in this, in taking those expertise and put them to work. So hopefully, if we can get more colleagues from around the world, we can share their views. Again, for our colleagues from Egypt, maybe we can get together at the TESOL and have something, a framework. We can have it working in our classrooms. We really need to get something going to take back our, I would say to take back our classrooms, put them back in the right place. So thank you again. I think you guys want to conclude, and just keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Okay, it seems like Maha would like to take the floor. Now, allow me to introduce Maha. Maha is known as Maha ESL. She is the founder of ESL community and the head of English department at the Arab Academy for Training Technology. Now, the nice thing about Maha is she's one of the those only, I would say, moderators coming from Egypt this session, I believe, 2017, or I mean 2017. So, of course, we got Ayat, but I mean, this session, we have one new moderator. Maha, would you like to tell us a little about this experience you're going to venture into in a few?
Sure. Hi. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, that's great. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Ayat, Maria, Hanaa, Amira, and everybody. Thank you for giving me the chance. This is EVO is a great experience. I've been following EVO for some time, and I like the way they provide courses because you can interact quite well with your participants, and this is one of the most important things that I really missed when I worked online, when I had courses online. So that's the most interesting thing about EVO, is that you communicate with your participants and you get to know their ideas, how they would like to go ahead with the course, how they would like to learn about the topic that you are dealing with. And so this is one of the most interesting things for me, especially that I have given courses before online, and I have given a number of sessions online on different conferences, and I had always interacted with people on the spot. But later on, we did not have the chance to go ahead and communicate more online. So this is one of the interesting things about EVO, and it has been a pleasure for me to work on LuisaQ since 2011, and it has been a pleasure to work with Nelly Deutsch through her Moodle, and she's offering me another space this year on Moodle as well. I've been working with her for about 2 years now. And she's a really supportive person, as well as all of the EVO stuff. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, you're most welcome. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody.
Shukran. Thank you very much. Gracias. It's a pleasure. It's the first time I listen to your voice, but I've been working with you for some time, so thank you very much for participating here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and I would like to extend my thanks and NileTESOL LTSIG thanks to Van Stevens and the web heads for offering us this chance and for hosting our session in the Blackboard Collaborate Learning Times website. Thank you so much, Vance and the web heads, for this kind of support. And thank you, Iman, Khalid, Maha, Mai, Amira, our NileTESOL president, and everyone for joining us. And I hope it was useful. And we're working on getting you the recording of this session very soon. And thank you so much, Hanaa, for being a great support and for running on the session.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you all the Egyptian participants. Thank you, Hanaa. Thank you, Ayat. Of course, my dear twin, my dear sister, my dear friend, for having allowed me to be here. So thank you very much. And whatever you need, just let me know, and I will be in contact with you. I have a Facebook account. You can find me there. So nothing. Thank you very much. Shukran.
Shukran, Maria. You're so kind. Thank you very much for your time and generous tips. I'm sure it's going to be great. It would be lovely to join one of your sessions. So hopefully I'll sign up myself this year. Thank you very much, Ayat, my fellow colleague, my fellow friend, for sharing your rich experience with EVO. I would like to thank our participants in this first live session. We'd like to thank Amira Salema, our NileTESOL president, for making it despite her busy schedule. Thank you very much, Amira, for making it. I'd like to thank Iman Muhammad. Again, she struggled a little signing up, but again, she managed to get into the room. Again, thank you very much, Iman. Khalid, our keen participant, hope we have met your expectations. You've been asking for get together before the conference. Hope we quite made it today. And Maha Hassan, Maha ESL, wish you all the best in your upcoming EVO session as a moderator. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'm handing the floor for any final comments.
Okay, I will give my last words. I hope I can meet you, all of you, again soon when I travel to Cairo. I don't know when, but I hope I can meet you and talk to you face to face. So thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrated. If you don't, I hope you all have a nice 2017. Thank you. Bye-bye.